Hello everyone and welcome to SLR Tier 1, and this week we are in COTA, Austin, the circuit of the Americas, and alongside me this evening is Lars. How are you doing? Shall I call you Lars?
I'm doing very well, my friend. For those who don't know me, or who have well, you will know me if you frequent the Tier 2 comms, but I'm hopping into the comm box for Tier 1 this week, and I am looking forward to seeing the top guys give us an excellent race. I'm really hoping, because it's a great track that we are at around here. The Circuit of the Americas, probably my favorite of the American group of tracks on the F1 calendar, and it's always been a banger every time I've seen the race here, so let's hope for more today.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there. The track is exciting to drive in my opinion. And yeah, lots of twisty sections, high-speed corners, hairpins, long straights. It's got a bit of everything, really. So it produces some exciting racing. Looking at the session we've got in front of us here, we have Tunari, who's already set a pole lap time. We're a bit late on getting on air, but Naiku, almost a second behind him, which is interesting. Crystals isn't validated on his in lap, 32.2. But yes, after the Tier 2 race Wednesday, we're expecting another exciting one today.
Let me just get chat up for you. I know that Lepson has made it very clear that we always like to engage with the chat. So let me just get the stream up and see if chat are saying anything at the moment. And you were talking, of course, about this circuit. It's so unique in a lot of ways, this Circuit of the Americas. Sector 1 especially. I mean, one of the few tracks where you're climbing uphill into turn 1 into a very tight left-hander, and then the fast sweeping chicanes, so easy to invalidate in Sector 1, but not in an unfair way. It just requires great skill. And then the long straight down in through Sector 2 before hitting the tight and twisty confines of Sector 3. It's got a little bit of everything, this track. So it is a great one to watch. Even if the racing and overtaking isn't too exciting, it's great just to watch cars go around here. It is such a beautiful circuit here in the Lone Star State.
Absolutely. And a lack of traction generally across the track also contributes to some interesting moments. There's that corner that Atom has just gone through on his in-lap is definitely one you want to be careful of on the throttle when exiting the turn. We saw a couple of people spinning out of that on Wednesday. So Johnny hasn't set a lap time yet, neither has Danny or Christian. Maybe they're going for just for 2 runs so they can save a spare set of softs.
It is it's interesting you mentioned that, of course. It is a very long track around here, and obviously we are enforcing rules where you can't just take shortcuts, but even if we were allowing people to take shortcuts, there's nowhere really to take them. You could maybe straight line across the chicanes in Sector 1, but all of Sector 3 is tight, twisty turns and grass and walls. So if you're looking to get 3 runs done, you really have to be on your toes. It does look like they're probably just going to go for the 2 runs. Of course, many would say, well, you only need 2 runs, 1 warm-up and 1 for your final run at the end of the session as the track evolves. But hey, a bit of practice never hurt. Unless you put it in the wall, then it will hurt immensely. As we have more cars leaving the pits, we have Tunari leaving. Atom has come into the pits there. Crystals is out on track. Verch is out as well. Lepson, Smelto, Run Cruiser. A couple of names I'm actually recognizing from Tier 2 here, obviously dabbling their toes in there. John Wick among them. Or as I will now refer to him as, Shadow the Hedgehog.
What is that?
Same actor.
Oh.
I kid you not. The boy, John Wick's actor is the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog in the new Sonic movie, which is something I never thought I'd say. But anyway, as we have a car disqualified. I can't say that name. Noah whatever that name is in the Alpine.
Noah Ilikopi.
We'll just call him Noah. We'll just call him Noah, but he's disqualified for facing the wrong way, which is a rather unusual scenario to find. And just looking out on track, who's on the lap at the minute? I'm trying to see who's going to cross the line first.
Fede has just started.
Well, Girl is invalidated. Oh no, they're on an outlap. Sorry, my apologies.
2 tenths up for Fede through the first sector. And
yep, Crystal's doing purple sector 1. Yep.
Yep, and he's coming into the first of the hairpins here. Really good chance to get a good exit and gain some time all the way down this straight, especially with a little bit of nice little bit of slipstream he's going to get for a few cars here, albeit a very short period. And braking just before the 100-meter board down into third, cutting that corner as much as you can get away with before invalidating. Another purple sector up by almost 5 tenths. Good lap if you can keep it together. This is a tough corner because as you're turning in and braking, you can't see the apex, and at the last minute you realise I'm going to hit it or I'm going to miss it, and you can't really do anything about it. So you've got to get your braking and turning point spot on there. This is all flat out. This is almost flat out. No brake needed for Fede through this corner, and then the last corner, really difficult on this year's game, is sort of between third and fourth, but he does improve. He stays P3, but he's got a lot closer to Atom.
I mean, you're saying sector 3 there, going around the penultimate corner flat out, and actually the complex before that, that long sweeping right-hander into the fast left-hander. Yes, it is flat out if you're brave enough and if your tires can handle it. But you're saying it's tricky on this year's game. Even in previous years, I've seen plenty of cars that maybe just haven't had the grip on their tires that they thought they had, and it's so easy for the car just to cry, "I've had enough," and just drift itself off the track completely. So it is full throttle if you're brave enough, and well, we'll see if any drivers want to play chicken in the actual race. No chickens here though. That's a brave effort from Tunari. 130.7, nearly a second quicker than the nearest time.
Definitely.
That's surely that's just everyone else warming their tires up a little bit. That's an immense gap from first to second. Just looking to see, I'm trying to flick through here, who else have we got on a lap? Got quite a few drivers actually. Makender did a lap of a 131, but he invalidated. We've got Christian coming around to complete his first run. We've got yellows in sector 2, that'll be I think that was one of the Williams, just moving out of the way, and Christian goes to second. Now that's a bit more of a representative time, a 30.8.
Yep.
Now I think we'll see the times tumble.
Also had Nike, who improved by a couple of tenths to go up to third place. It's pretty close between P3 down to P7.
Just trying to, it'd be very nice if we could get some comparisons on the board. Codemasters, if you're listening, give spectators some more tools to play with, because it'd be great for commentators. It would be nice to see track dominance, to see where Christian is missing out on that pole time, and where everyone else is gaining in comparison. Nikau is coming around now through sector 2 on a lap to improve. Atom has gone up to P5. Or sorry, he was already there. He's actually down on his previous best. Who else do we have moving around? Makender will be on his way back to the pits. Smelto has invalidated, and he was 4 tenths up on his previous best. With that, but obviously invalidated as well. Lepson pushing hard, but he's invalidated as well. Lots of drivers invalidating, which is why I think we're not really seeing times come down very much as of yet. I think everyone can go quicker. They just invalidate their lap before they get a chance to put it on the board.
Malti, if that's how you pronounce it, in the Haas is just about to start the third sector, and he's confused me because he's 6 seconds down, but he's still running hot lap mode, so I assumed he was on a hot lap. Now I hope he's not on a hot lap.
Well, he's sort of backing off. Yes, he could turn his battery off. Also, maybe put an Italian spell in. Malte.
Malte.
Malte. Arrivederci, Malte. Forza, forza.
Valtteri Bottas.
Is that terms of service, or are we being going to be called? He is preparing for it. No, is he? He is preparing for it. No, that was a very late call to the pit lane. That was surprisingly late. I thought he was going to take the little barrier with him. Here comes Atom round the penultimate corner. Keeps it within the white lines this time. You can see the way the cars are wanting to fishtail as they floor it through that final corner. As you said, it was more difficult on this year's game. Atom improves to P3, but still not able to break into the 1 minute 30s.
Yeah, it's a weird one because you sort of want to be in gear 3.5, as it were, because third gear is too low. You sort of get too much rotation and you rev out the engine too early on the exit. But if you're in fourth, you lose time on the exit because your revs are bogging down and you don't have enough drive through the corner. So it's a bit of a weird one. We might see some drivers going third, some fourth. I expect in the race they'll go third because they won't have as much acceleration being quali as really just a toss-up between what you feel is best through there.
Well, fourth gear could be good for saving the tyre wear, of course, because you have less revs, you don't spin up the rears as much. Although fourth gear, from what I've heard from various drivers in other leagues, does have its own problems. Apparently, you will be fine in gear 3, but sometimes get wheel spin in gear 4. I've heard there's like a phantom wheel spin in fourth gear. Sorry, that was my phone. I forgot to turn it off. Which is unusual. But well, it doesn't seem to be causing anyone any major difficulties. Although, as I say, in the race, if your tires wear away, especially the rears, then we could see a few dramatic offs in the race. Looking at the times, everyone's coming out for what will presumably be their final runs. I would tell you how long is left in the session, but it says I've got a yellow flag. It's about 2 minutes 30, so this will be the final set of runs we're seeing. And actually, interestingly, Atom may not make it for another run. He's on his in-lap. He's coming in through sector 3 now. He'll have to really go some if he wants to get back out on the track in time for a final run.
Yeah, I think he's done. Not getting out within... It takes at least 1 minute to get in and out, I reckon. What is Virch doing?
He's cut in front of...
What was that about?
He cut in front of Atom there.
Well, at least they were both coming to the pits and didn't mess up anyone's whole
whether he felt that Atom was going slow and ruined his lap, and then sort of cut in front as if to say, hey, moron, wake up. It could be worse. He could have taken him out, but there is traffic on that track at the minute. Just looking at Gerla, with about 3 cars all starting to build up behind them in the third sector. That's the biggest cluster on track. We've also got Smelto dueling away with Run Cruiser. Both of them on an outlap, vying for track position, and actually Smelto cutting across Run Cruiser there. He went wide, but look at these two. It's like, lads, the race isn't until after quali. Calm yourselves.
I was just watching
They are really jostling. They really want this track position. As much as you may think, oh, we could get a slipstream, dirty air is what you're really wanting to avoid around here, especially in that first sector. So I'm surprised Run Cruiser hasn't backed off. Would be the sensible choice. Back off and let the McLaren pull away for a little bit. But they're underway. This will be interesting to see who gets what as they all begin their final runs. I'm just flicking through to see who we've got coming to the line. So Atom is done. Jammy did not set a lap. I wonder if he had a quali ban or something.
Well, I was watching McKender through the first sector on his final run, and he invalidated quite early.
His map red.
Yeah, he did that quite early, so I wonder if he has enough fuel to do another lap.
Tug is up to P5. We've got a McLaren. No, that's Danny. He's on an out lap. Who else have we got?
Crystals.
Next to the line will be Crystals, who is marginally improving. Currently sitting P7.
Oh, not anymore.
Going way too far over the curb.
Crystals has got history on that corner. A couple of seasons ago, under a safety car, he span out of that and put it in the wall on the left-hand side.
Well, he cut the curb too much and actually invalidated before he even went wide off the track. Gerla going through the final corner does not make the same mistake, but is running very low on battery. And whether that will harm them down the run the line, and yep, they do improve, but only to P9. Lepson coming round, he's improving. John Wick stays 14th.
Ooh,
Lepson's
nice
to P4.
from Lepson. His Nike. And he improves up to P4, just pips Lepson. Touge is still in the middle of his lap, but he's already on 20% battery, so he's going to have to be careful.
No, he's on a cooldown. Smelto up to P9. Run Cruiser pips him, though. The slipstream proving more favourable.
McKender invalidated again, so he's not even going to get a lap in.
Ooh! Actually slower than his previous best. He will but a purple final sector. Tunari aborts for the pit lane. Is there anyone who can challenge at the minute?
Yeah, Danny.
Tug is on a cooldown. That should be everyone, I think.
Danny is still on the hot lap. He hasn't set a time yet.
True.
And he could easily get pole if he puts a decent lap together.
He is... I haven't seen the sector times as of yet. Oh, he's run well wide. Nope, he's invalidated.
He's taken the IndyCar line.
Well, F1 don't let that stuff slide, so he will start way down the order. And a difficult day for the drivers in quali overall, you'd have to say, because a lot of invalidations and some big names not even getting in the top 10. But your grid there, oh gosh, it's all the Nordic countries taking the way. Tunari on pole from Christian, from Tuj, Atom, Naiku, Lepson, Malte, Crystals, Run Cruiser, and Smelter your top 10. The rest of the positions: Gurla, Verge, Catastrophes, John Wick, Makender, Danny Coe, Jammy, and Noah at the back, who is disqualified. So yeah, 1 disqualification and 3 drivers not even setting a time. That's rare. That's quite rare to see.
Yeah, I wonder with all the invalidation whether that would say is because there weren't many penalties handed out for track limits in Tier 2. I wonder if there'll be more in Tier 1 as they're pushing the limits a bit more. Because
what'll be very interesting is how far out of position those ones that didn't set a time are. Because if some of them are clearly out of position, so it'll be interesting to watch them make their way through the field. Should give us some excitement and possibly some explosions as well, which the Americans won't mind. NASCAR and all that,
Just good to clarify that.
But obviously, you're more familiar with Tier 1 than I am. Your predictions, like who do you see making a challenge, or do you see it being a straight run for our front pack?
Makenda is going to win from P50.
10 quid?
No.
10 quid?
No.
5 quid?
2. I'll give you a 60% chance that Makenda's going to win.
Do you have any TF2 items? Your entire backpack? Nah, we don't condone betting here.
Here we go, though.
Nor do we condemn it, though.
Here
5 red lights.
5 lights, and it's going to be Tunari, Makenda's teammate, who's starting right at the opposite end of the grid to his Mercedes compatriot. It's Christian, though, who wanted to challenge up the inside, but has had a bad exit off turn 1, and it's Tuj going round the outside. It's the two title rivals of Christian and Tuj who can make the move stick into P2. Christian has to Tuj has to let that one go as he slots in behind. We've got Crystals making up a move on Malte into P6, and further ahead, Naiku.
Sorry, as Makender just goes through. Oh, we've got a spin. Lepson got on the dirty stuff, half spun the car, seems to have damage. I don't know if
look at this. Danny, Run Cruiser, side by side through the hairpin. You've got Catastrophes behind them. It was 3 wide very briefly, and Makenda all the way up to P8 after starting P13 or something. So he's had a fantastic start. We'll have a look at here on Gurla, who's making the overtake on the Red Bull.
I'd like to see Crystal start again. I saw an Aston Martin come very late on the very left-hand side on the inside of turn 1, and they actually came in so fast that they ghosted. The game did a preemptive ghost. So it was a very ambitious
lovely dive up the inside from Noah, and he's caught Gurla napping. So Gurla got past Catastrophes, but he's now down into P13. He's lost 2 positions because of that mistake.
Just looking through the field as Lepson goes for a bit of cross-country there. He's got damage. Smelto also with damage. Lepson carrying on with that wounded Williams. Smelto aborts for the pit lane. Anyone else with damage looking through the field? Jammy seems to be okay. So it must have been Lepson and Smelto that made contact on lap 1. I definitely saw Lepson spin off, half spin rather, on,
Danny
on the curb.
Danny hounding the back of the Haas through these S's. You have to be on much quicker tyres if you want to make a move here. Someone's gone really wide there. That's Run Cruiser. He's off the track, in fact.
And swinging his wheel left and right in frustration. Yep, swinging that wheel must have just run wide on the curb, and must all be running fairly low downforce because there's a lot of small errors happening as Jammy tries to make his way through the field. He recovers to 14th place. Looking at the positions, changing, the biggest
There's
winner
going
off
to be
the
a change
line.
of the lead here. Sorry, change of the lead. Christian up the inside of Tunari using the DRS to his advantage. And they make contact there, and Tunari does well to keep his car pointing the right direction on this turn. And he's down to P2, but he won't be too concerned because he'll just race back past with DRS again.
As I was saying, biggest winners off the line, Makender, as you said, who you thought was going to win, and Danico, both up 8 places. Shouts to Noah, up 7 as well. Biggest loser off the line, you probably saw this coming. Lepson is down 10 places, but also Run Cruiser and Smeltho down 8 apiece. So some big winners and losers off the line. Everyone else basically losing 1 or gaining 1 or 2 places. As the fastest lap start coming through, Makender, as you predicted, is on the move. Fastest lap of the race so far.
Absolutely, we're going to have a move here with the Red Bull. It's Noah who's going to go round the outside, continue his work after a brilliant overtake on Gurla. There's a bit of contact there, and I saw some carbon fibre flashing across my screen. I wonder if that was from the car of catastrophes. We'll wait and see his pace. Noah is past, and he's forced his way up into the points.
What's interesting to look at here, just looking through the rest of the graphics, Malta, who is actually slowing down quite a bit there. Almost like he missed a gear. That was strange. He's down in P10 right now, but he was rather staying with the pack. I don't know if he's got a problem with his wheel or something. He's going incredibly slowly, but he's on the hard compound tires. He's the highest runner on the hard compound tires. He's dropping his back now. So there goes much of his advantage, but we've got a massive battle happening up the front. Atom and Nikau engaging in combat, and neither yielding at the minute. Side by side through the twisty sector 3. They're still side by side, but Atom taking the inside and going through the little divot in that corner, loses traction and has to cede the position.
Yeah, now look
is
at
in P4, and actually Makender is pressurizing Atom as well.
Yes, I was just about to say, look at the position McKenna's in. He's in the train for the lead, and with them all battling, he's basically back into this race as if quali never happened.
True enough, and Tunari with the fastest lap, trying to break away from Christian, trying to get that 1 second buffer to break for DRS. It's not happening at the minute, but at the minute you'd say Tunari has slightly more pace. And it's actually more evident in... Oh no, they're actually... Do you know what? They're about the same on ERS as well. It's a very tactical battle, this one. And the thing is, despite being so good in quali, they're not exactly dropping the rest of the pack. There's a DRS train all the way down to P9. Catastropheus is 1.7 behind Noah, but the top 9 are all within DRS range of each other. As Makender tries to defend...
That's audacious. Yeah, he's left the braking way too late there, trying to get past Atom, and now he's under threat from Crystals.
Christian takes the lead. That's the favourite overtaking spot so far, is the DRS zone. Although he runs wide on exit, that could be a warning. Was it a warning? In fact, I'll check the race director, because I'm not streaming this time, so it's interesting to note. He got away with it that time, but I'm seeing a lot of track limits pop up already.
Danny is in this battle too. Likewise with Makenda, he started way down at the bottom of the grid, and he's made his way up to P8 now and looking for more. Who knows what's going to happen in the later stage of this race, but at the moment it's really, really tight, and Christian or Tunari, whoever finds himself ahead, is not able to break away because of how powerful the DRS is and how evenly matched they are pace-wise. This is Makenda trying again on Atom. This time it's a bit more of a controlled move. He controls his braking. They're still side by side though, because he has the outside, but he'll have the inside for this next corner. Is he going to stick it up the inside? He's going to try, and he's not going to have the grip on the wider line to go around the outside, but he'll have another chance in just a moment when they come up to the DRS. He's got to be careful though that Atom doesn't lose DRS to Naiku with this battling, because Naiku's already over a second.
DRS to Tug. Naiku is out of DRS range. I was saying the pack, we had started to see 2 packs developing. Gurla is now nearly 3 seconds adrift of 9th place Noah, and Naiku has dropped out of DRS crucially just before this long back straight. So unless he can really catch up, and he's running low on ERS as well, that's going to be a bit of a problem for everyone behind him, because Makender does have good pace, can't find a way past Adam at the minute.
Danny.
Crystal. Yes, Crystal's got 3 seconds there for a track limit warning. Was that as a result of potential contact from what you said there? Because
No.
you said something about Danny.
Yeah, he just dived up the inside. I think Crystal's cut the corner of his own accord there, so nothing to do with Danny. I wouldn't have thought, maybe it's a bit spooked, but Danny up to P7. The leaders are changed again.
Noah is ghosted very briefly, although I saw him recovering to the sliding around a bit, so whether he went off track, not too sure. Gurla has definitely gone well off course, losing the rear on the final corner, and now coming under pressure from Catastropheus.
Makenda making up another move up to P5. This is sort of a carbon copy of what happened on the last lap, but this time he's slightly further ahead than he was last time round. Can he make this move stick? Who's going to give in? And he's gone wide there, Zatem, and he's going to lose out to Danny as well, and maybe even Crystals, as Crystals has a go! And he's tagged the back of him, and he's not going to be able to make the move right now. Atom, after all that distraction, has cut the corner as well. We're seeing a lot more penalties already than we did in Tier 2, which is an
There's chaos at the back while that was all happening as well. Catastrophe is getting tagged and half spinning as he was in battle with Jammy. Gurla made the mistake on the start-finish straight coming out of the final corner, and that's allowed this whole pack to catch up. Jammy has taken advantage and gone ahead. Gurla is now losing out to Verts as well. A lot of these boys are the reserves coming up from Tier 2, and they're quite happily having their own little battle here.
Here comes Makenda on Naiku.
Catastrophe is now losing out to Multi. And up the front.
Yeah, Makenda on Naiku, up the inside. He's tried this a couple of times, and he's got past this time, and it's compromised Naiku's exit, so much so that Danny is profiting so much from Makenda in this race as Naiku gets slides. Yeah, I think he had to react quite ferociously, because Naiku took a weird line through there, and Danny was about to hit him if he didn't take any action. But yeah, I was saying Danny is taking... Go ahead.
Sorry, at the front there was action as well. It was all the battles were happening at the same time as Danny does try and make a move. Tug has got ahead of Christian. Tug is now currently P2. So he has caught up to those front two runners as Danny goes around the outside of Naiku and makes it stick, does he not? We've seen this move before, but he makes it stick this time. Makender, who you said would move through the field, is currently up to 4th. The gap, though, 2.7 as they come through to the end of Sector 1. And Naiku's not done yet either. He's clawing all over the back of Danny. And Crystals and Noah. Noah has just been tailing this group the whole time. He almost senses he's sort of waiting for someone to blow up, which would unironically probably be quite a smart move considering the way these ones are racing at the minute. Smelter retires.
In the pit lane.
He's retired.
It won't be a safety car. Here's Makenda, and you were talking about the...
Tug is taking the lead, sorry.
Yeah, talking about the gap. Danny's got past Makenda, so has Naiku, although Makenda is still on the inside. He's going to have to try and make this stick because he doesn't want to be stuck behind Naiku again and losing time to the leading pack. He has got that done, but he's still sliding. It's happening everywhere for all the drivers. So little traction at the moment.
We've heard from, and experienced from myself in AOR, that the medium compound tyre on this year's game is just absolute trash. It's only lap 7, and the tyres are dying already. The hards, by contrast, are what you want to be on. They're basically made of vibranium. They will last until the ends of the earth. The softs, don't even consider them. They'll last about as long as it takes to get out of the pit lane. So a lot of leagues, a lot of other drivers finding difficulty on the mediums, especially on these high wear tracks like Kota, like Canada, and so on and so forth. So, but the question is, obviously I said the hards will last, but not if they overheat. How far are you prepared to take the hards? Atom seems to be taking those mediums as far as they can go. He's really dropped back. He's now into the claws of Crystals. Down in P8, he was up in the top 4 at one point. So he seems to be struggling. The top 3 are breaking away. Danny cannot close the gap at present to the top 3. So we effectively have 3 packs as Tunari with the Slipstream does get ahead of Tug. And further on back, that's Makender getting back against Danny. Although what I would suggest, boys, is if you want to catch this front pack, take a lesson from Creator Series. Don't hold each other up. with these brilliant, as much as we love the overtaking, you know, every time you make a move, you're compromising your line and the speed of the driver behind. If you know you're quicker than everyone else, sometimes it's better to just hold off on the overtake and work together with another driver, slipstream each other, use DRS with each other, and try and close that gap, because it's increasing now. It's 2.8.
Yeah, or do what the two McLarens did brilliantly in Tier 2, which is just overtake each other.
Sorry.
Yeah, overtake each other with the DRS on each lap as an agreement, and you will gain some time. But at the moment they're losing it. It's down to 3.1 seconds. So yes, first pit stop for Atom, who you mentioned was struggling on those mediums, goes on to hards.
Yep, if that's about... It's not an unassailable pit window, but it is rather early. We're not even close to half race distance, and the mediums are dying for some people already. Now, whether Atom is thinking, look, I'll just coast around on the hards and hope for a safety car, but you saw he had no pace on those old mediums. Whatever setup he's running, it's very hard on his tyres.
Naiku under threat before the DRS is even activated, but they both have it, but Noah was already alongside him, and he's going to use his DRS and steam his way into P6, and he goes deep there actually, which allows Naiku to come back at him, but he gets on the power just in the nick of time to keep that place.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing a lot of on my end, lockups. There's a lot of little puffs of smoke coming from every driver's tyres. Whatever way their setups are and whatever way this surface is, they're finding it difficult to manage their braking and their tyre temps, and that's probably contributing to why we're seeing all these mistakes. Some of them just, I know that they're all desperate to catch these top three, but you'll notice with the top three, there's nowhere near the same amount of, you know, braking mistakes. And what that means is, yeah, maybe they're not going as quick as they possibly could, but they'll be able to go quicker for longer. And it's showing, you know, the gap is still stabilized. Even Makender cannot close this gap. It's still 2.8. Gerla also goes to the pits after 9 laps on the mediums. So, pit window was opened at lap 7 by Atom. Only 2 drivers have pitted so far. The rest are making it survivable anyway. And they all seem to just be settling down a bit. I think they realize they're all on the edge of their tire life, and it's not worth the risk of doing a do-or-die move. It's too early in the race for it, and you could just blow yourself up with how little grip is on these tires. Sorry. What's the closest battle on track? We've got the top 3 all in close proximity. Tug going for the lead again.
Yep, and Danny further behind, re-overtaking Makenda. These two using each other's DRS to good advantage, try and catch up as Jammy gets past Crystals.
That's an important move to keep an eye on. Apologies for interrupting if I was. But Jammy is running the hards. He's the highest running hard compound runner at the minute. 9 laps on those hards, and we seem to have reached the crossover point. Jammy is now scything through those gaps, and the hards have overtaken the mediums in terms of how good they are. The question is, how long can they hold on to the life for? Because Jammy will be aware. He'll have seen, you know, who was pitting, and he'll have realized, look, some of these guys are only making the tires last 7 laps. If Jammy's in a similar position, he would have to take these hards all the way to lap 21, which is another 10 laps from now. So it's going to be an interesting tactical battle, as Verch is pitted, as has Catastropheus, so the Red Bull's double stacking, and Crystals has pitted as well. And Run Cruiser.
Okay, so people making moves. Run Cruiser
retires. He's retired in the pits.
So I wonder if any of these, who out of these remaining medium runners is going to bite the bullet first and go onto the hardest, maybe get an undercut of sorts. Tunari is going to get past Touche without any issue whatsoever here. Maybe Christian will too. We'll wait and see, as Christian is up the inside and he gets past. And once again, Makenda and Danny swapping positions. It seems like there's an understanding between those two now that they have to keep doing that on the back straight with the DRS if they want to catch up. There may be
not really catching. The gap is now 2.9. It was 3 seconds. In fact, it's 3 seconds again there. So as much as there seems to be an understanding, I think it came too little too late. The top 3 just have more pace at this stage of the race. And as you said, it'll be interesting to see who blinks first, because of course when one boxes, the rest will have to respond or else risk being left behind. But as it stands, none of them are
In comes
blinking yet.
Mikenda.
And Danny responds, Noah responds, Naiku responds.
Okay.
Jamie on the hards, obviously, does not.
So depending how this outlap goes, we could have a 6-way battle again for the lead if these three can have a stonking outlap and gain around 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds on the cars ahead.
It was only about, I mean, Tunari was 9/10 down on his personal best in the first sector there. So it does show there's a lot of gaps. Naiku gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits, as does Catastrophius. But yeah, they're going to have to respond on this lap because the mediums are clearly dying. There's no point going out on them any longer. And it depends also how quickly do those hards fire up. What's the gap at the minute? Who was the first of those ones? It would have been Makender, who is fighting his way past John Wick.
Yep, and he'll have DRS for this next straight as well, which will gain him some more time.
It will, but he's also been fighting through traffic in that first sector. That might be the blessing that the top three needed. And that's the problem, is they have to respond, but it's very clear from the positions there that they're not really going to come out in clean track at the minute. They'll get caught in traffic.
It's Danny,
and of course they've also have to contend. They've also potentially have to contend with Jamie and Malte, who started on the hard compound tires and will naturally overtake them, as all three do indeed.
Oh, Danny has been involved in an incident there with John Wick and I think Noah as well, and that's not helped him. Doesn't look to have damage. Let's keep an eye now though on Tunari. Where is he going to emerge, and where in relation to his teammate Mikenda will he be?
Malta. Malta does get ahead of that trio. Where does Atom emerge? Atom over him. There's Makender. See, the traffic did cost him. Had he not been battling there, I think he would have actually overtaken some of those top three.
Yeah, I think so, but the gap has significantly reduced, and he's back in their DRS zone as well, so that's probably mission success as far as that's concerned, getting back in the lead battle.
The problem now is that although all the cars are out, a lot of cars are out of sequence with the rest of the pit stops. We already saw a problem that caused when John Wick was battling with Danny, which he is allowed to do. They're on, they're racing. They're on the same racing lap. And Atom now, who pitted slightly earlier, is up to P6. His tires are slightly older, so he's not technically out of sync, but he is somewhat out of position to a degree, as Tug gets ahead of Christian as well. Tunari is right under the rear wing of Malta, and he will want to overhaul the Haas driver as soon as possible. Looks to the outside, tries to brave it all the way around there. That's not going to happen, but sweeps back to the inside, and that was a beautiful over and under, as Jamie gets 3 seconds for running wide. So maybe the hard's not lasting as well as I thought they would be, if these mistakes are starting to come in. But Jamie well clear at the minute, 9.5 rather, as Malta pits. So the hard, that's interesting. That's an interesting call. So he did 13 laps on the hards. Surely he's not pitting to mediums. That would be, he is.
No, you have to. You can't go into softs.
Well, yeah, but it's. Well, I was thinking he was going to do a two-stop or maybe like another set of. Well, he could do medium soft, I suppose, but there's no way those mediums go all the way to the end. That's 14 laps he's got to do on those mediums. Even the leading pack we saw pitted after 10. So that'll be an interesting one to watch. Jamie is losing time to the ones behind, which is to be expected, but not by a huge amount per lap. He's taking them longer like he needs to. Meanwhile, Tunari and Makender, as you said, is literally right in this battle with the leaders now. He's done very well. Oh, that's a big look-up from Tunari.
Yeah, Atom trying to hang on. Doesn't look to have the pace of the rest of them. but he'll do his best. He's still within DRS range at the moment.
Just looking in the chat there. So Vert saying that Atom blocking me, stupid reaction from me. And Ron Cruiser saying the reason he retired, 3 black screens. Nice. So he's obviously having some technical difficulties, it would seem. Meanwhile, back on the track, Christian is... Oh, hello, Danny. Danny suddenly setting the fastest lap of the race as we've got Noah trying to get around Atom. They're still side by side as they're coming into the left-right complex. This could be a disaster, but Noah thinks better of it. As Lepson gets another 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. None of these top 4 have penalties.
The natural
yes.
top 4, Jamie does have a penalty, but as we said, he's out of sync with the rest of the field. And the gap is coming down there, as you said.
Oh, what's going on with Makenda there? That was a bit of a scary moment. Just got a bit of quite a lot of oversteer on the exit, and hasn't cost him anything there. So, from what we've seen from Malte, these hard compound tyre runners have got to take care of their tyres because they don't last as long as you think they might.
None of the tyres seem to be lasting as long as people thought they might. I genuinely think we might see some conversions to a 2-stopper.
And the gap is starting to come down quite considerably now to Jamie. 7.1. So onto the back straight for another time. Just let some retires in the pit lane. Let's see if there's a change of leader up top. Tugate is going to get past his fellow Finn and into first position. And here comes Makenda up the inside. Nearly gets 2 cars in one. Tunari was a bit slow to react there to the move from Makenda. He gets past Christian. And he's right on the back of his teammate. Oh, and Tunari gets a 3-second penalty.
That could be crucial at the end of the race. Let's see what else is happening on the track here. Sorry, I was just sorting something. This Crystals gets 3 seconds. Lots of time penalties, actually. Let's have a look at the details of that. So it's 3 for Jamie, Tunari, Atom, Naiku, Gerla, and Verch, and Catastropheus. Lepson retired, I just saw there. I didn't realize that. It's 6 at the minute for Crystals, as Tunari overtakes Tug. But he does have that 3-second penalty. So he's now got to pull away from this leading pack, which, given their respective pace, seems unlikely at the minute. So that's good news for Tug and for Makender and Christian. One less car to worry about, effectively. get to Jamie at the front now, 4.5. Jamie taking these hards very well. He does pit now, though. So that'll be 11 laps he's got to do on the mediums, which is a far more respectable distance than some of the others are asking of their tyres. And Tunari saying the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, and he's still only 3/10 ahead, so as much as he pushes, he's not going to be able to break that gap, I don't think, unless there's a mistake from the cars behind. Noah has overtaken Atom, and he's now right on the back of Christian, looks to have a really good pace, so we can't count him out of this race yet either.
That's true. Interesting at the back, a little bit of experimentation going on there. Catastrophe is pitting for the soft compound tyre, with 10 to go. I mean, he's at the back, he might as well try something different, but that's a very different strategy call.
Here comes McKenda on 2-gate, but a little...
No, he doesn't, he thought about it.
Too big of a gap.
Or maybe thinking, look, I'm just going to chill here. I'm not going to waste my tyres. We've got a long way to go. He's been on those for 6 laps. 1 lap longer than the cars around him. Oh, and there was a slight correction there. Maybe he's just thinking, look, I'll save all my battery, save my tyres until the end. He is on the highest ERS level. He's at 90% out of the front runners. Well, going down into the 80s now, but he's higher than everyone else around him. Christian, on contrast, is the lowest. He's about 50%. So,
here
I think
he
there
goes
is
now.
just
He's got a better exit, and he's going to have a go into turn 1, I believe.
maybe inside of turn 1.
Yeah, as I say, it's well done there from McKenna, because he had to make sure it was a clean overtake, because he doesn't want to allow Tunari to break that DRS because of a battle they've been having, losing time. But he's still well in it, so that's well done.
Although, of course, the thing is, now he can really just focus more on defending his position. The DRS obviously will help him do that, but he doesn't really have to worry about Tunari as long as he keeps on this fairly consistent pace. As Noah gets 3 seconds as well. As long as he keeps this fairly consistent pace, you know, Tunari had to find 3 seconds from somewhere. John Wick retires. That's in the pits as well. He's had enough for today. Catastropheus, I think, is just out there for fun. As Gurla picks up another 3-second penalty. But this is the battle we want to focus on at the front here. It's intriguing. It's been all wheel-to-wheel action early on. Now we're getting into the more tactical side of things.
Very close together, the two Mercedes. And yeah, everyone still taking their time at the moment, as you'd expect, with 9 laps left.
Again, I think this will be a much quieter part of the race. We're just waiting really for everyone to realize when they're in range of getting to the end without worries. And then we will see, hopefully, some really good battling for the win of this race. Unless...
Oh, Touche goes a bit wide there and loses some time. I thought he'd lose a bit more than that, so a bit of a false alarm. Makenda will be able to get past here. DRS is so powerful on this back straight, although he doesn't have the best of exits.
And Makender does get past Tunari. I don't think Tunari would fight that one too much. They are on the same team for the constructors. And Tunari probably knows this isn't his fight to win at the minute. Although whether he's thinking he gets some DRS and the Mercedes work together to pull away from each other, as Catastropheus does call time on it. I told you the softs don't last that long. Christian only 2/10 down Tug, and Tug is actually out of DRS range at the minute.
Yep, they've got to be careful because there are tyre car catastrophes coming out of the pits here, but they're well past him. Oh, maybe not. In the background, saw a bit of ghosting there. Verch and Gurla going side by side up into turn 1, and Verch gets ahead. You'd expect another swap from Mercedes on this straight to keep pushing forward. So Danny gets past Atom. He hasn't really recovered since his contact with John Wick, and he's still down in P6 with 5 seconds to the leading pack.
You wonder if he's carrying maybe some of that, you know, the invisible damage glitch that we used to see more in the older F1 games, though it is still possible. You wonder if he's carrying just a slight bit of damage. Could even be damage to his side pods or something, which is much harder to spot. Because he just doesn't seem to have the pace that he had earlier in the race. Could be the compound of tyre, although I do think I'm seeing some damage on that right side floorboard. Potentially. It's hard to tell from the camera angles. But there might be some damage to his floor, which would explain his lack of pace. Sort of in no man's land at the minute. 5 seconds, I mean, Atom's close to him, but all the cars behind do have penalties. So he's kind of just trucking along at the minute. Noah still trying to keep up with the top 4, and doing so, but again, he has a penalty as well. Currently safe to Danny, though, in P5. And it is just very much take your time, no rush at the minute for these front runners.
Yeah, except for Christian, probably.
True.
Probably at least wants to be in P3 come the last few laps. Jemmy gets past Atom on his medium. I think he only has 3 seconds of penalties, so we'll see if he's able to get past Danny relatively quickly, and whether these tyres will still be effective at the end of the race.
You do get the sense that all the drivers are just in this tyre management mode. There's still 5 to 6 to go, including this one. It's still, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider how long this track is and how quickly the tyres wear, that feels like an eternity for some of these drivers. I mean, the front runners have already been on these for 10, 11 laps. The likes of Adam have been on them for 14. So I suppose your first port of calling to look at would be Atom. He's the one who's been on these tyres for the longest time. When they start to go on him, they'll probably start going on everyone.
Yep. He's comfortably inside the points. As Crystals gets up into that P9 place now, overtaking Naiku, and they're going side by side, these two cars. And Naiku manages to get that back, a bit squirrely on the exit, but Crystals sends it up the inside, and Naiku's just left the door wide open there. And Crystal says, thank you very much.
Okie dokie. Sorry about that. Had a visitor popping in there.
Whoa! Okay, that's not on.
What was that?
Nike's just tapped the back of Crystal's. They're both still alive, but
I love that use of vocabulary there. They're both still alive. We would like to hope they are. On purpose, was it, or just a slight
I
error?
don't think so.
Well, it seems to be the closest battle on track at the minute, as the top four, while they're close, are just not really doing a whole lot with the gap of the minute.
Apart from the Mercedes just swapping every lap. Although Christian,
as I say,
does Christian have a chance here? No.
Makender does make the move. No, sorry, Makender lose out to Tunari. Again, they're all still looking up, but these five are all inseparable. It's kind of like watching AI drive at the minute, isn't it?
It's how consistent they are. Noah, with the penalty, is out of it now, you'd say. So realistically is Tunari, unless he can punch in 3 fastest laps in a row and get out of that 1 second range, which seems unlikely.
And as we coming into the closing stages, I believe that after, well, actually with this lap we are past the safety car window, so if any big accidents happen now, it won't really make an impact on the front runners.
And also, with 3 laps left, when you cross the line, this is probably the time to start making some progress in the race. Touge.
I'll tell you what, the two Mercedes have pulled away slightly. The gap now 0.6, 0.7 actually, as Tunari loses out to Makender. Tug is dropping back slightly, ever so slightly, from the Mercedes, and Christian is trying to find a way past. Noah, I think, is only really concerned about staying ahead of the likes of Jamie and Danny. He knows he has a penalty. But then he is probably thinking as well, look, if I can get past Tunari, that would be another position. So he still does have something to fight for.
Yep. So, 3 laps to go. The 2 Mercedes are locked together and will definitely be helping each other out. Tunari's job maybe is to defend from Touge to help Makender win. And Touge really isn't close enough yet to even think about making an overtake, because you have to close in at least 3 tenths or so. As Makender locks up there and Tunari has a better exit. Let's see if he goes for the move here. And he does. And it's going to leave his teammate vulnerable somewhat to Touge on this lap.
I was going to say, you'd think, knowing that the gap is there, that he'd try and act as a rear gunner for Makender, but I suppose he's thinking, look, if anyone makes a mistake, that could be me getting another position.
Yeah.
Because it's only a 3-second penalty.
Clouds have rolled in. So Christian, looking to get past Touge, has a poor exit there and won't be able to do anything. Not many people may be able to make moves into turn 1 anyway, although Noah was thinking about it. So let's see what Touge can do. He's going to be pushing now, and he is definitely close enough on the back of Makenda, and he may even be close enough to Tunari to overtake him as well. So if Makenda get past, Touge can follow Makenda through. That would leave Makenda vulnerable with no DRS to Touge, but we'll see what happens here. As Touge is going to get past Makenda, you would think, sorry, not Makenda, Tunari. He's round the outside, Tunari up the inside. He's going to fight this for the sake of his teammate. And Touge has the inside line here. Tunari keeping his throttle in. He has another chance, but no, that is that. Although Tunari up the inside.
That's not going to happen.
And gets a poor exit. And is he going to lose out to Christian now as well? As he's got to make sure he finishes ahead of Noah at least. Otherwise he will be in 5th position. But that's huge because now Touge is behind Makenda on the last lap with the DRS straight coming up and a big overtaking opportunity to win the race. So he's got to have the best first few sectors, and then he'll be in a fantastic position if he wants to overtake.
We did say it was going to get spicy at the end. Of course, the other thing I haven't had the chance to look up really is how many warnings are these guys on? If one of them makes a desperate lunge or a desperate defense, could that be resulting in a penalty? You have to be so precise. If you're sitting on 2 warnings, there's no extra chances. It's 3 warnings and you get a penalty.
He's gone a bit deep into that corner. Makenda's managed to gap him a little bit. But he is definitely close enough. He just needs a okay exit as he's gone a bit deep, but he manages to save it. As Makenda gets a load of oversteer. He certainly does. They'll both be boosting overtake. It's going to be touch and go, but Touge with the overtake, the slipstream and the DRS has the inside line. Further back, Christian is trying to get past Tunari. And he's got to be really careful here, Tunari, that he doesn't fight too hard and let Noah go up the inside of both of them. Oh, and Noah gets another penalty. Touge has managed to defend from that inside move lunge that we've seen Makenda do a couple of times so far this race. Christian, doesn't really matter what happens between these two because Tunari has 6 seconds, Noah has 3. That position is sealed. But it will be Makenda who goes up the inside in the last corner of the race. What's going to happen here? It's a race to the finish. And Touge just holds on. And I've got a voice break.
Gap of 0.069. Nice. But it is Touge, or Tug, or however you say it, who wins the Circuit of the Americas race, although that is just provisional. Whether there will be an argument or any discussion of penalties remains to be seen. Christian gets the podium. Noah, for all his troubles and that final penalty on the final lap, drops down to 6th. So Danny State goes into 5th. Tunari will hold on to 4th. Looking down the rest, Jamie made the mediums last to P7. Not a bad showing. Atom could only manage P8 after doing 20 laps on those hard compound tyres. It wasn't the right call, but then really what choice did he have, I suppose? His mediums were dead. And there you go. Makender is named driver of the day. I mean, just as well you're not a betting man. You said Makender was going to win. You lied to me, sir. You lied to me.
Well, he was going to win until the last half a lap.
He was going to win, but he didn't. Anyway, not being mean there, I'm just saying. The Finnish flag waved high. And it is still the Nordic countries absolutely dominating. The top 4, top 6 actually, are all Nordic countries except for Danny, who is flying the flag for Britain. But what a drive from Makender, 15th to 2nd. Other good showings, Jamie from 17th to 7th. Noah, even though he lost out on penalties, was P18 and managed to get to P6. That's not bad. And Danny from 16th to 5th. Good showing from all those drivers there.
Yep. So Touge getting the full 25 points. So remember, in terms of the championship, Justin is not here this week, who leads the championship. Makenda was his closest rival. He only got 18 and not 25, so he hasn't taken full advantage this week of Justin's absence. I think Makenda has to be driver of the day, P15 to P2.
You'd have to agree. You'd have to agree with that. A sterling drive from him.
there we go.
Yeah, I would be in full agreement with that.
So, anyone wants an interview, please come to the interview channel.
Just bear with me. I'm going to have to deafen a second. If you want to start the interviews, go on ahead.
Yep. Let's see if anyone wants to talk to me. Normally no one wants to talk to me, so we'll see what's going on. There's Gloucestershire at 83 for 4. No one really cares about the cricket score though, do they? The viewership's going to go down to 1 now. So, anyone, while we're waiting, make sure you come back next week. Let me just check what the track actually is. It will be Azerbaijan, Baku. You know how crazy that can be, so definitely come back and watch that. Wednesday tier 2, Friday tier 1, same time as always. And we'll give it a few more minutes, but it looks like they're deep in discussion. Anyway, we have got an interviewer. We've got Fedivara and Gula. Let's bring them in. Hello, Fedigula.
Hello.
Hello, ex-teammates. That looked like it was really tough.
Yeah.
It looked really tough on the mediums that they were degrading really quickly. How did you find the tyre compounds?
Yeah, they were pretty bad, the mediums, to be honest. Like, I was pretty much sliding, in the last two laps before pitting. And yeah, then with the hards, I go from wind damage, like lap, I think it was 12, 13. So I had to do the whole race with broken wind damage. And yeah, just Gerla, it was just, trying to help me, just fighting with the guys behind to get the gap. So yeah, we got a point. It's actually pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, I was defending from the Haas, which only had 3 seconds of penalties, while Crystals had 6, so we needed the 3-second gap from him to Crystals, so I defended the Haas as hard as I could to not let the Haas through, and we did it, so Crystals got P10, which is not a lot, but still better than
tier 2.
Well, you seem to have good pace, especially in qualifying. Next week is a track I like to call the Thunderdome, Baku.
Yeah, Baku.
Who knows what's going to happen there?
Yeah, who knows? Like, it's one of my best tracks, actually. But every time quali, I crash the castle, so...
Yeah, don't be stupid.
Yeah. We'll see next week. I'm actually gonna try to practice more, As I think, like, the pace there with me and Gerla, we just need to practice more, compared to tier 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. But I think, like, points every week are pretty much achievable, but we'll see next week.
So I'd expect you to win next week then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, P1. Yeah, P1 and 1 and 2.
Nice. Anything else you wish to add? Yeah.
No. Another girl.
At least you didn't say, yeah.
Yes.
There we go. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Sorry for the weird interview. Don't really know how to interview people. That's why I let everyone else do it. But I'm on my own.
Yeah, what happened to Chief, by the way?
Oh, I don't know what's happened to him.
He just got...
Who knows? Okay. tune in, everyone, next week. So I've already said all this, but make sure you do. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the other social channels.